The words hit me like a gut punch in the dim glow of our kitchen, where the scent of burnt coffee lingered from his careless morning brew. Yeah, she's fine, but come on man, I could do way better. She's got that frumpy vibe, you know? No spark, no ambition. If I had real money, I'd be living large with someone who matches my energy. His voice, muffled through the cracked door of his home office, slithered into the hallway where I stood frozen, laundry basket clutched to my chest like a shield. My husband, Mark, laughing with his buddy on a video call, oblivious to the earthquake he'd just unleashed in my soul. Fine. Frumpy. The man I'd built a life with for 8 years, the one who'd promised forever under a cheap Vegas chapel's neon lights, reducing me, Elara, to a placeholder. My heart hammered, a wild drumbeat drowning out the hum of the fridge. Fury boiled up, hot and acrid, but beneath it, a sharper sting, humiliation. How dare he? And yet, as I backed away silently, the seed of something darker took root. Revenge, cold and calculating, whispering promises of justice. I slipped into the bedroom, the basket thudding softly on the carpet. The room felt smaller, the air thicker, as if his betrayal had sucked the oxygen out. Sinking onto the edge of the bed, I stared at my reflection in the mirror across from me. Plain brown hair tied back, no makeup, wearing the same faded jeans I'd owned since college. He wasn't wrong about the surface, but oh, how little he knew. The multi-million-dollar inheritance from my late aunt, tucked away in offshore accounts and savvy investments, had been my secret since before we met. I'd hidden it, testing him, waiting to see if his love was real or just a facade for the comfortable life I provided on my modest salary as a freelance editor. Now, that secret burned like a weapon in my grasp. Heartbreak clawed at me, raw and unrelenting, nights of whispered dreams. His arms around me after long days, all tainted now. But resentment surged stronger, fueling fantasies of his face crumpling when I revealed the truth. Could do better. I'd make him regret every syllable. That night, dinner was a battlefield of forced normalcy. The clink of forks on plates echoed too loudly in our cozy suburban dining room, the one I'd decorated with thrift store finds to maintain the illusion of our middle-class struggle. Mark shoveled pasta into his mouth, scrolling his phone. His broad shoulders slouched in that designer shirt I'd splurged on for his birthday. Ironic, since I could buy him a wardrobe from Milan without blinking. "How was your day, babe?" he asked absently, not looking up. His voice, usually warm, now grated like sandpaper on my frayed nerves. "Fine," I echoed his earlier dismissal, my tone flat. Inside, a storm raged. Denial whispering that maybe I'd misheard, that it was just guy talk. But no, the words replayed in my mind, a loop of betrayal. I studied him, his chiseled jaw, the easy smile that had once melted me. What motivated him? Greed. Boredom. He'd always dreamed big. Luxury cars, yachts, exotic trips. Hinting at dissatisfaction with our simple life. Little did he know I could fund it all. Obsession flickered. I imagined confronting him now, watching his eyes widen in shock. But no, that was too quick. Revenge needed to simmer, to build like a pressure cooker until it exploded in his face. "Work's killing me," he sighed, finally meeting my gaze. "That promotion's dangling, but the boss is a jerk. If I had my own thing, I'd be set. You know, like those influencers living the high life." His words dripped with envy, and I bit back a laugh, bitter, edged with guilt. Was I wrong to hide my wealth? Had I created this monster by testing him? Doubt crept in, a slimy whisper. Maybe he's right. Maybe I am frumpy, unworthy. But no, heartbreak twisted into resolve. I'd play the long game, let him dig his grave deeper. Over the next days, the house became a stage for my quiet unraveling. Mornings, I'd watch him from the kitchen window as he backed out in his beat-up sedan, dreaming aloud of Porsches and penthouses. "One day, babe, we'll upgrade," he'd say with a wink, his hand brushing mine, a touch that now sent revulsion shivering down my spine. Alone, I'd pace the living room, the soft rug muffling my steps, my mind a whirlwind of plans. Fantasies bloomed. Hiring a PI to catch him cheating or simply walking out with everything. But that felt too clean. No, I wanted him to taste the luxury he craved, then yank it away. Moral conflict gnawed. Revenge made me no better than him, did it? Yet resentment won, hardening my heart like steel. Subtle hints emerged in our conversations, building the suspense like a tightening noose. One evening, as rain pattered against the windows, casting watery shadows on the walls, he complained about our upcoming anniversary trip, a budget cabin in the woods. It's cute, but imagine the Maldives, Ilara. Crystal waters, private villas. His eyes gleamed with that familiar greed, and I smiled inwardly, my pulse quickening. Maybe someday, I replied softly, my voice laced with hidden venom. Inside, obsession grew. I'd book the Maldives, reveal my fortune mid-trip, then shatter him. Fear flickered. What if he begged forgiveness? What if I weakened? But no, the plan solidified, cold resolve pushing aside guilt. I started small, strategic moves that heightened the tension without tipping my hand. A mysterious envelope arrived. Fake bank statements I'd mocked up, hinting at inheritance inquiries. I left it on the counter, watching his eyes dart to it as he poured coffee. "What's this?" he asked casually, but his fingers trembled slightly as he flipped it open. "Oh, just family stuff," I said dismissively, heart pounding with suppressed rage. He nodded, but I saw the spark, curiosity, calculation. Layered beneath his charm was a man driven by status, always chasing the next big thing. Our marriage. A stepping stone. Humiliation burned anew, fueling my inner monologue. He thinks I'm nothing, I'll show him everything. Nights blurred into a haze of planning. Lying beside him in bed, the sheets cool against my skin. His snores a rhythmic reminder of his complacency, I'd stare at the ceiling fan's lazy spin. Denial faded. Fantasies sharpened into blueprints. I'd transfer funds discreetly, book the trip under a pseudonym to avoid suspicion. Doubt assailed me. Was this obsession destroying me too? Guilt over my deception warred with resentment, but betrayal's scar ran deep. Every quiet moment built suspense. A lingering glance, a half-spoken secret. The air in our home thickened, charged with unspoken fury. By week's end, the plan crystallized. I'd pretend to win a contest, a lavish getaway funded by my lucky break. He'd jump at it, his luxury fantasy ignited. Then on the trip, the reveal. I'm the multimillionaire and you're out. Poetic justice with a twist of moral gray, using wealth as a weapon, just as he'd used love as a tool. As I drifted to sleep, heartbeat steady with cold resolve, I whispered to the darkness. He could do better? Let's see him try without me. The anniversary approached like a storm on the horizon. Mark's excitement bubbled over during breakfast, the kitchen filled with the sizzle of bacon and his animated chatter. This cabin thing's gonna be great, but next year, we're going big. His grin was boyish, almost endearing, if not for the undercurrent of entitlement. I nodded, stirring my tea, the steam curling like my twisting thoughts. Inner conflict raged. Part of me yearned to forgive, to reveal and rebuild. But heartbreak's echo drowned it out. Resentment had morphed into obsession, every detail of the plan a balm to my wounded pride. That afternoon, while he was at work, I made the calls. The travel agent confirmed the switch. Maldives, 5-star resort, all expenses paid from my hidden accounts. The villa overlooked turquoise waters, a paradise he'd drool over. Sensory details flooded my imagination. The salty breeze, the crash of waves, as I packed, slipping in a folder of financial documents for the big moment. Fear prickled. What if he saw through it? But planning pushed forward, each step deepening the suspense. Evening brought a pivotal conversation, tension humming like electricity. We sat on the couch, TV droning in the background. His arm draped casually over my shoulders. "Hey, about the trip, I entered this online contest on a whim," I said, voice steady despite the adrenaline surge. "And we won. Maldives instead of the cabin." His eyes widened, jaw dropping in genuine shock. "No way. Babe, that's insane." He pulled me into a hug, his cologne sharp and familiar, but I felt nothing but calculation. "This is what I've always wanted," he murmured, revealing more than he knew. Suppressed rage simmered. His joy was my fuel. As we prepared, subtle foreshadowing slipped in. He packed his best clothes, humming tunes of triumph while I watched, heart a mix of guilt and glee. Moral complexity hit hard. Was I becoming the villain? Yet his betrayal justified it, or so I told myself. The night before departure, lying awake, doubt whispered, "Abort, forgive." But cold resolve silenced it. The stage was set. Revenge awaited. The plane touched down with a gentle thud, jolting me from my reverie as palm trees whipped past the window in a blur of green. The humid air rushed in when the doors opened, thick with the scent of salt and frangipani, wrapping around us like a seductive promise. Mark squeezed my hand, his eyes alight with that greedy sparkle I'd come to loathe. "This is it, Ilara, living the dream," he exclaimed, his voice booming over the chatter of disembarking passengers. I forced a smile, my skin prickling under the tropical sun, heartbeat a steady drum of anticipation. The resort shuttle whisked us away, tires humming on smooth roads lined with swaying coconuts, the ocean's roar building like the tension in my chest. Inside, emotions layered thick. Excitement feigned for him, but for me, a cocktail of resentment and cold resolve. This paradise would be his undoing. Our villa was a vision, teak floors cool underfoot, infinity pool merging with the horizon, the crash of waves a constant symphony. Mark hooped, diving onto the king-sized bed with its silk sheets, his laughter echoing off the high ceilings. "How did you pull this off? That contest must have been rigged in our favor." He pulled me down beside him, his lips brushing mine in a kiss that tasted of betrayal. I pulled back slightly, masking revulsion with a coy grin. "Luck, I guess," I murmured, my mind racing through the plan. Tonight, dinner under the stars. Tomorrow, the reveal. Doubt flickered. His joy seemed genuine now, stirring guilt. Was revenge worth this moral gray? But humiliation's memory surged, hardening my spine. As the sun dipped, painting the sky in fiery oranges, we dressed for dinner. The restaurant overlooked the beach, lanterns flickering like fireflies, the air alive with the sizzle of grilled seafood and distant ukulele strains. Mark ordered extravagantly, lobster champagne. His posture relaxed, king of his fantasy world. "This is what life should be," he sighed, clinking glasses. "No more scraping by. Imagine if we could do this all the time." His words hung heavy, a perfect setup. I sipped my wine, the tartness mirroring my inner bitterness. "What if we could?" I asked softly, voice laced with hidden intent. He chuckled, assuming a joke, but I saw the spark, calculation in his eyes. Tension built, slow and insidious, every glance a foreshadowing of the storm. Back at the villa, moonlight danced on the pool's surface as we lounged on chaises, the night's warmth enveloping us. Alcohol loosened his tongue, and the conversation turned confessional. "You know, Ilara, I've been thinking, our life back home? It's okay, but I deserve more. I've got potential." His tone dripped entitlement, resentment flaring in me like a match to gasoline. "Deserve?" I echoed, feigning curiosity. Inside, obsession peaked. Fantasies of his downfall vivid, moral conflict raging. He leaned in, voice dropping. "Yeah, if things were different, maybe I'd explore options." The admission hung, a dagger to my heart, confirming everything. Heartbreak twisted anew, but resolve crystallized, time to strike. Morning brought crystalline clarity. We snorkeled in azure waters, schools of fish darting like colorful confetti, the sun's rays piercing the depths. Mark's exclamations of wonder grated. His hand on my back, a reminder of his duplicity. Back on the beach, towels soft and sandy under us, I pulled out the folder from my bag. "Mark, there's something I need to tell you." My voice was steady, but inside, fear and fury warred. He sat up, brow furrowing. "What's up?" You look serious. I handed him the documents. Bank statements, investment portfolios, all bearing my name with seven-figure sums. This contest. It wasn't luck. I've been a multimillionaire since before we met. Inherited it, invested it. I hid it to see if you loved me for me. His face drained of color, eyes widening in shock that mirrored my earlier pain. What? Ilara, this changes everything. He grabbed the papers, flipping through them frantically, his breath coming in short gasps. The ocean's roar seemed louder, amplifying the suspense as realization dawned. Changes everything. I repeated, voice cold as the resolve I'd nurtured. Like how you said you could do better. Heard you, Mark. On that call. Humiliation poured out, raw and unfiltered. He stammered. Babe, that was just talk. I didn't mean wait, with this money we can have it all. Greed flashed, unmasked, his motivations laid bare. Guilt twisted in me, had I provoked this? But no, his betrayal was his own. No, we can't, I said, standing, the sand shifting under my feet like his crumbling world. I'm divorcing you. You'll get nothing. Prenup's ironclad, remember? The one you signed without reading. His face contorted, shock, fury, desperation. You can't. This is manipulation. He lunged for the folder, but I stepped back, heart pounding. The villa's serenity shattered. His shouts echoed as staff appeared in the distance. Inner thoughts raced. Was this justice or cruelty? Moral gray enveloped me, but satisfaction bloomed, poetic, sharp. The twist came swift, unforeseen. As he ranted, phone in hand to call his lawyer, a notification pinged on mine. A message from my PI, hired weeks ago. Photos of Mark with another woman, timestamps from before the trip. He's been cheating, the text read. Heartbreak's final stab, but it fueled the payoff. I showed him the screen. Not just words, huh? You did do better. And now you're out. His luxury fantasy crumbled, face ashen as reality hit. Penniless, exposed. We flew home separately, the planes hum a dirge to our marriage. Back in the empty house, echoes of his presence lingered. The dent in his favorite chair, the faint cologne on pillows. Obsession faded, replaced by quiet reflection. Revenge tasted bittersweet, laced with guilt over my deception. Yet, as I transferred funds to charity, his deserved luxuries now aiding others, a sense of closure settled. The twist. In shattering him, I'd freed myself. No more hiding, no more tests. The emotional payoff was mine. From betrayal's ashes, cold resolve birthed rebirth.